Okay, so today we're going to take you through how easy and quick it is to deploy a Osirium Automation PPA tool into your environment. First of all, we're going to go and download the latest PPA version, which at time of recording is 2.70. I've already downloaded it, so I've saved myself a bit of time there. Then once we've downloaded it, we then log into our vCenter, which I've already done. Right-click on your data center and deploy OVF from template. Click on local file and choose the file from the location you downloaded the OVA to. Here's my one, 270. Okay, then click on next. Give your machine a suitable name. I think PPA 27 will do for us, and a suitable location. Then click next. Okay, choose your compute resource to spin the machine up on. I've only got one host, so hopefully this will be fine, and we'll click on next. Okay, it's finished validating the machine, and now you've seen it's come up with the Osirium code signing cert, so you can trust that this image is a legitimate image. Click on next. Okay, you want to read through the agreement and tick the little box at the bottom and accept, and then click on next again. Okay, we're going to choose a thin disk this time because I'm running low on resource, but whatever is applicable to your environment, choose, then click on next. Again, I only have one network here, so VM network is the default, but you're likely to have lots more, so pick the applicable network, the interface for your appliance, and click next. A quick review of all the items it's going to do before we deploy. Check it all over, and if you're happy, click on finish. Okay, and now the appliance is deploying into your environment. Grab a cup of tea and come back in a couple of minutes. Okay, so our machine is almost finished installing. It's going to hit 99% and 100. Okay, we're fully deployed. Okay, now we can head on up, right click on the machine and click power on. Okay, right click on the machine and we can fire up the web console. Let's see how it's doing. If we right click on the PPA and then launch web console, we can see how we're doing. Okay, we've got a black screen. That's not unusual for the first part of the install. We should start to see some rolling text very shortly. There we go. Okay, once this bit's complete, you should see the Osirium logo come up. And it's going to sit here for a short period while it's doing things in the background. Okay, now it's going to wait for the database to come online, and then we should get put onto the initial screen. Okay, we've got our initial start screen. So at this point we can follow those instructions and configure the static IP if we want, or do what I'm going to do and just browse the DHCP assigned address in the web browser. We can get configuring. Okay, if we accept the certificate here, you can see we're at our initial setup. So our next point is to SSH in and give a public key for the support user. If you don't have a public-private key pair available, just fire up PuTTyGen like I do. Create yourself a public-private key pair and save them somewhere suitable. Okay, then we can fire up PuTTy and we can put our address into the host name there, and then move down to SSH and auth and locate our private key that we created and connect. Okay, we can accept that fingerprint, that's fine. Okay, and if we log in using the username presented on the screen here. Okay, so you'll see that it's now accepted that public key and it's telling us that we've now got to log in via SSH using user support in the future. So let's kill PuTTy and start another session just to test that's working fine. So if you fire PuTTy up, put your host name back in, add your auth details and the key, and reconnect. This time use user support. You can see we're connected just fine, so that's all working great. You'll notice the web UI has also detected that the public key's now been added and is now asking us for a strong password. So make yourself a strong password and type it in here twice, and then click Save. Okay, we've got HashiCorp Vault installed here, and we're really using this to store all our confidential data. So click Setup Vault. Okay, it's already created keys and tokens for us. You want to download those and keep them somewhere safe, along with your password and your public-private keys, and then click Continue. Now we'll log in using the password you created earlier on. Okay, and now we're at the initial screen. So first of all, we've got to do a little bit of configuration to get this working. So if you click on the Configuration tab, and first port of call is we'll upload our license that Osirium has provided. You'll get 4 weeks on an eval, but if you've got a license, here's where you add it. You can now see it's registered to me. I can now do lots of nice things. Next, we'll head over to Active Directory because we want to hook this into our AD. So hit Configure there. Put your domain details in there, and the host name of your domain controller or your IP address. Okay, and then click on Save. Here we'll use a username and a password with access to AD. I'm going to use administrator in this instance. Okay, now we can select what groups we want to import. So if we tick all these boxes, it will import all of those groups. It should find about 30. There we go. Brilliant. So last port of call here is to add an SMTP server so that we can get our authorization emails sent out. So host and port, I'm using my domain controller, port 25. No auth, and I'm not using TLS in this instance. So create a sender and a recipient, and click on Save. Okay, and that's the config essentially done. So now we can start doing tasks. Okay, now we're in a position to look at our playbooks. So if you head over to the left-hand side and click Playbook Editor, you'll find a handy little link on here to our Resource Hub, which contains loads of very useful resources to give you a bit of a head start in your journey. So go ahead and click that. Okay, and then click on the View Playbooks, and lots of useful stuff in here, but the one we're interested in is the Add Users to Security Groups. So if you now click View Playbook on that one, at the top there you've got a little bit that says Copy Playbook to Clipboard. If we do that and then flip back to PPA, we can create a new playbook. Now, give it a suitable name. Add User to Group is a fairly obvious one to go for. A little short description of what it does and who authored it. And when you finish that, click Save. Okay, it's already put a little bit of text in there, but you know, we're not doing this from scratch. So if we blank that out completely, and then we paste from our clipboard, yeah, we'll see our playbook has now come in. Now you notice it's found that we're missing some plugins and is helpfully directing us to install them. So if you want to click Install on those 3 plugins, it will head off to the Osirium site and pull those down. Okay, next we're going to validate it to make sure there's no errors in the code. It looks fine, and we'll save that and then click Build. I'll go off the background and build our task. Okay, it's completed our task and it's telling us to go and preview and deploy. So let's close that and then click on Preview and Deploy. Okay, so this will actually run the task. So it's going to actually do the task we do here as a test, which is quite handy. So we then click Start. Okay, the window's come up telling us what it's going to do. We click the Start button now. it's discovered that we don't have any Vault information for accessing Active Directory. So first time we run this, it's going to collate this data. So if you put in an address for the domain controller to start with, then your fully qualified domain name, okay, and the username you're going to use to access Active Directory. And if we type that again, next it's going to ask for a password. So put the password in for the user, and as a check, it's going to ask you for it again. Click submit. Okay, it's going to check that out, and it's happy. It's got access, and it's stored our secret away, never to be seen again. So we've got to find a user. I'm going to go for Dave. Dave wants access to something. Let's search AD. Is that the right Dave? That is definitely the right Dave. So we'll select that user record. Dave wants access to a VPN group because he needs remote access because he's working from home, like a lot of us. So if we click on him and give him access to that group, okay, let's just make sure he's not in that group to start with. So we'll just flip into AD, just confirm that he is not a member of that group already. Yep, we can see he's blank. So if we click yes, then we can add him in. Now we need to give a reason why we want this access. So we're going to say Dave's working from home and he needs access to the VPN. When we click submit, it'll ask for an address for an authorization. So we put in an email address, which is mine, and we should see an email flipped into my inbox. There it goes, with somebody requesting access. So we've got two options here. We can approve or reject. In this instance, yeah, we're happy that Dave can have access because everyone's got to work from home, so we'll approve that. Okay. It's approved that. I was already authenticated because I was already logged in on the web browser, so I didn't have to re-authenticate. And if we go back and look at the task now, we can see a nice big green task succeeded. Dave should now have been added into that security group. So a quick refresh of Active Directory. And we can see Dave is definitely in the group now. Okay, so if we click down to roles, we can see we've got a users tab there. If we edit that, we can add one of our Active Directory groups here to give permissions for an Active Directory users. So if we add the help desk groups, they're the ones likely to want to be using this tool. So we save that. Okay, we then head up to inventory. We can see there's the task we created earlier on. Okay, and we can deploy this task. So we need to give it a revision number. So in this instance, we'll put 100. Sounds good. Okay, I'm going to log out now and log in as the help desk user and see what the help desk users can see now. Okay, so we haven't been delegating any tasks yet, but we have permission to log into the system now because we're in the PPA help desk group. Let's log back in as admin again and delegate some tasks out. Okay, so back to inventory, and you'll notice on the right side we've got edit delegations. So if we add the PPA help desk group into there, they should now be able to see that task. Okay. But first of all, in the users tab, we'll need to go and tick the little box that says can start tasks, otherwise they'll be able to see the task but not actually run it. So if we log out and log back in as help desk again, we should not only see the task but be able to start it as well. There we go. So if we now click on start and run this task as the help desk user. Okay, we click on start. I think Satish wants access this time, so let's search for Satish. There he is. That's definitely him. Select him. And he wants, I think it's CRM access. So let's give him request access for the CRM users. Okay, let's give him the reason why he wants access. He's a new user of CRM, and we'll send it to the approval address, which is the same one we used last time. And that email will now wing its way through to me, and now I can make the decision on whether we want to accept or reject in this instance, I've been told that no users of CRM are allowed to be added this month because we've run out of licenses. So we're going to reject. So I'm having to re-auth because I wasn't logged in. So once I've logged in again properly with the correct username and password, it will reject the request. Okay, now if I now log back in as the help desk user, okay, and I look at activity, we'll see a error state in the activity on that task. We click attach, we can see exactly what happened, and the request was rejected by the admin. So it's failed. So okay, so maybe we'll try getting him other access because he still needs internet access. So let's request that instead. Okay, we click on start again and put Satish's name back in here. Okay, we'll click select that user record, and now let's search for the internet access group so we can get access through the proxy. Yes, we want that group. Okay, and if Satish needs internet access via the proxy, we'll send it to our admin. Okay, and that email has popped up again. That seems like a reasonable request, so we'll approve that. So we'll just log back in as the admin and click. That will approve. If we log back in now as the help desk user, we should see that task has completed. So into activity, we'll see success up here. Click on attach, and our task has succeeded. And just a quick check into AD to confirm that Satish has appeared in the internet group, and there he is. So, and it really is that quick and easy to get yourself up and running with the Osirium Automation PPA.